when I pulled Orlea, I screamed in agony. But once I had built her, the enemies screamed in agony. Hello everybody, welcome to the channel, my name is Hako. Now if you looked at any tier lists or partaken in any discussions regarding the game and Orlea has been brought up, it's usually not in like a good sense, right? So I pulled Orlea, I was super excited, so it was a 5-star, also heard a female voice I haven't heard before, so I thought it was Clip, which is the one that I have been after. Orlea appeared and I felt beyond disappointed. But I also knew that people were saying that Amir was really bad, until I figured out that no, it's people being bad at Amir. So I figured, is it the same case with Orlea? So I actually built her out and started using her, and honestly, even if Mika is free, so say that I'm doing a chaos and I can bring Mika, I'd rather bring Orlea now. Orlea is fucking broken. So this video is to glaze Orlea, but let's also treat it as a little bit of a guide. Let's talk about what makes Orlea so fucking broken. So, most of her abilities have a chance to spawn one of her slimes. She has 3 different slimes. Sacred Sensor is a really good card that it's an outbreak of war, she will always start with this one. The different slimes are Softy, Swifty or Tuffy. And what is so fucking good with these cards is that they have retain, and every time you retain them, they do different things. Tuffy, he will heal you. Swifty, he will like build up damage, so like the showcases you saw in the beginning, like that's Swifty after a few turns, and it's absolutely silly. And then we have Softy. Softy is like a buff that buffs you every single turn, and when you finally feel like unleashing hell on an enemy, well, then you use Softy and you get like even more bonus. And this is basically why Orlea is so broken. Also, this is just a 1-star version of these ones. Let's see how do we view the 3-star versions. If we look here at the 3-star versions, like they do a lot more. So I will have you notice that these ones, they cost nothing to play, and they also do effects if you don't use them. So like just let them sit and grow in the hand, and like they are broken. These slimes are beyond broken, and the longer you hold on to them, the better. And like you're not capped out at having just one of them, you can have 3 Toughies, like 3-star Toughies on the hand, and it's absolutely silly. You will get so much heal every single round, and if a really big attack is coming your way, you can just use them all. They cost 0 AP. They are incredible. They are literally smash the glass in case of emergency. Orlea's first potential makes it so her basic attack cards have a chance to spawn the slimes. Now that might be good in the beginning, but in general you wanna get rid of attack my minions and also Heaven's Blade and also Heaven's Healing, because we will be taking care of the slime spawning with other cards. Sacred Sensor has some really good Epiphanies, and by far the best one is the one that makes it into an upgrade card and make it cost 2 instead. It will also gain lead, so has a chance to still cost just 1, and will also be able to be activated with the blue accessory that activates lead cards. The other Epiphanies are good, but they are not as good. So as you can probably tell by now, Orlea is a retain-focused agent. There are a few of those, Beryl is another one. Basically, you want to be sitting and holding on the cards for as long as humanly possible. What's special about the retain cards is retaining means like retaining them in your hand. And every time you do that, they usually come with a bonus, they come with a heal, they come with a Scooby-Dooby, etc. Growth Acceleration might not look at much as first glance, but this is one of the best cards in the game. With this one, it's a little bit of a heal, but also Orlea can select one of her cards and trigger the retain effect 2 times. Now the Epiphany that makes this into one of the best cards in the game is the one to the furthest right, just below me. So you select mostly one of your slimes, and then you will trigger the retain effect 2 times. If the slime you select is toughy, they've translated it to sturdy here, but they mean toughy. If you select toughy, every single combatant, all 3 of them, will lose 5 stress. This is the best stress heal in the game, by far. Now, perhaps I am one unlucky son of a bitch, but I very rarely get this one when I get an Epiphany on it. It's usually one of the other 4s, and like they are great, but they pale so much in comparison to this one. But the other ones are also good. If you can manage to get this one, you know, jackpot, you got stress covered. Another unique card is Annoying. This might not look like much, and like this is kind of the thing with Orlea. She's a little bit slow to get going, but once you get going, holy shit. So Annoying also has some amazing Epiphanies. One of my favorite ones is the one to the furthest left. If you have 6 or more cards in your hand, you will heal for 168%. This is a lot for a card that costs 0. And the thing with Orlea is that she will fill up your card with a lot of slime, so like this will always basically be active. And the other Annoyings are also great. The Annoying that costs 3, it's quite a lot of damage, and it also has retain, and for every round that you retain it, the cost goes down by 1. So if you've had it in your hand for 3 rounds, it becomes free. And it's free for like the rest of the combat, so if you use it, then find it again, still free. The other 0 cost Annoying is also really good. You will attack random enemies, and for every target hit, you will create 1 slime. And the slimes level up like this. If you get one 1-star Swifty and another 1-star Swifty, they become a 2-star Swifty. Add 1 more Swifty on top of that, that's a 3-star Swifty. And here I would say that the absolutely best one is the one that also causes Annoying to heal. Other than that, the one that makes it create a creation is great, or the one that makes it free after 3 turns. But honestly, Annoying is kinda good like all of the Epiphanies, so like, no matter what, you kinda win. Now, this is a very interesting one. Her other unique card is a Growing Creature. Now, this one costs 1 AP, but listen to me very closely. You're never ever gonna spend 1 AP on this card, because if you do, you will create 1-star slime instead. If you retain it, it will, on the start of next turn, transform into a 3-star slime. This is amazing just on its own, but once again, the Epiphanies are really where the creme de la creme is. Now, there are some good ones. The one to the furthest left makes it so instead of transforming this card into a 3-star slime, you will keep the card, but you will make a 1-star slime. Very good. One of the best ones is the one to the furthest right, so just below me. So instead of transforming into a random slime, it will always transform into Sturdy or Toughy, the one that gives you heal and a shield if you want to use him. And I would argue that Toughy, Sturdy, might be one of the better slimes, just because it's a very good passive heal, and also it's an oh shit button if a lot of damage is coming your way. There is one Epiphany of it that will make it so it creates 1 of each slime, which is also fantastic. Like I'm telling you, these slimes might not look like much just at first glance, but like you won't understand the power until you feel the power. And the absolute most beautiful thing with Orlea is that she buffs, she heals, she shields, she attacks, and none of it costs basically any AP whatsoever. For the last card, we have Will of Light. It's a big heal, and it will also activate the retain effect on all cards in hand. Important to note that this is all cards, so if you have another character that also has retain abilities, this will also trigger. As for the ultimate, it is a very good one. Her ultimate, it costs 6, and she will create 1 of each slime at 2 stars. Now, the way I like to do this is if I enter into an elite battle, I use this at the beginning of battle so that the slimes can grow and keep me safe like the longer the combat is. Usually the elite battles, they are a little bit a little bit timed, because the elite monster, it will get bigger and bigger and more dangerous as the rounds progress. And the slimes work in the same way, so they kinda, even that out a little bit. And those type of combats is where Orlea really shines. She has a little bit of setup, like she isn't super impressive at the start of a run or on turn 1. Her impressiveness, it comes from round 3 and onwards. let me play the Orlea showcases again just while I'm talking and like just look at this. So basically, for no cost whatsoever other than, taking up one card slot in your hand, all of these slimes will just continue to grow as the combat progresses. And now, this is not showcases that I've like purposely stalled just to like make Orlea appear better than she is. Like this is actual just clips I've taken from my normal runs. And I'm telling you, Orlea has saved my ass so many goddamn times. And these showcases, it's with Orlea running on a level 40 Alessa partner. So for Orlea, I've been running what partner I have, and I've had a lot of Alissas. Now, Alissa is not a bad controller partner, a lot of extra defense, and when a character heals, it actually scales a lot on defense, so like it is a good card. Also, at the end of battle, you recover 6% of your health. Alissa is a good card. Now, let's take a little bit of a gander at some saved data that I managed to accumulate. Now, certain characters, like Magna for example, like she's a great character. And like she becomes absolutely OP if you get certain items on her. One of those items being the multifaceted parallel universe Nexus. This is absolutely huge, and I should have given it more time during the Magna guide. I'm sorry about that. But Orlea is not as reliant on like a specific thing to actually make her pop, because like there isn't really a thing that I found to be like super OP on her, but a lot of things work great on her. Now this one is hard to come by, but Tentacle of Chaos is fucking great to have on Orlea. Titan Combat Suit, not bad, and Quantum Collector, it's like no specific niche items, but like still good. And if we look at the card, Gear Bag is a fantastic card. Basically, if you can get a gear bag, always pick up a gear bag. I stuck with Recycling just because it got a Super Epiphany on it, or a Divine Epiphany. And then we also have Financial Therapy, something like it is good during the run, but it's not so good outside of the run. So yeah, I should have sold this off if I had the chance. Let's look at some other builds. Let's look at this build, for example. For this one, I managed to duplicate the Sacred Sensors, and I also managed to Divine Epiphany them as well. It costs nothing, and it will create 3 slimes. That being paired together with, the normal one as well, this is an absolutely stacked Orlea deck. Lots of Divine Epiphanies and like just great all together. So yeah, overall, really goated Orlea run. And for this one, like we went hard on like DPS Orlea this round, so Executor's Edge, Reinforced Combat Suit, which is alright, and a Nature's Gift, which is very, very freaking good. Pairs up very well together with her slimes. Now, for this one, the weapon I found to like the most with Orlea, if I cannot find the Chaos Arm that helps with stress, is the RFS 17. Now, I wouldn't like spend money and maybe buy it for Orlea, but if you like just get it as a reward, it's not a bad card on Orlea. The Swifties, which is the damaging slimes, they cost 0, and with this they have a 10% chance to crit. Most of the Swifties you saw during the showcase, or maybe all of them, they were uncritting. So, and my Orlea is barely built, she doesn't have any good she doesn't have any good memory fragments, so she's so broken as she is now, but I still feel like I have so much progress left to go on her. And now there are quite a lot of things that you can unlock in the Chaos that correlates to exhausting cards, etc., that will be probably Orlea's best in slot items. One thing to remember about these slimes is that they, when you use the slimes, actually use them, they exhaust. So a character like Kairon, for example, that works very good on the amount of cards we've exhausted, Orlea is a fantastic teammate. Overall, Orlea is fantastic, very flexible on the gear. She has some that are better, but she works with a lot of it. Her best in slot armor can be unlocked in, what's the name of it? City of Mist, as a level 30 reward. The Psionic Combat Suit. When a card is exhausted, 30% fixed shield. Like I said, her slimes, they exhaust when you use them, and quite often, when we end up using them, they're either an oh shit button or a now we kill this guy button. So when you need to start using your toughest just to get shield, this will go a long way. As for Orlea's absolutely best weapon, which I have not managed to find yet, it would be hard to beat Flame of Purification. When a card is exhausted, 1 retribution on a random enemy, 2 per turn. Absolutely fantastic weapon. Now, as for what gear we should go for, there are some options. Personally, I think that the best 4-piece set is the Instinctual Growth set. If a hand has 4 or more cards, plus 15% instinct card damage. Like I said, Orlea fills up your hand very neatly, and this goes a long way for her own personal damage. As someone that likes doing, a million damage with the Swifties, I find this to be very, very nice. If you're going up against harder content, and survivability might be more important than her doing, more damage, then perhaps it's better to opt in for a 2-piece of Healer's Journey, max HP, 2-piece of Tetras, 12% defense, obviously helps with defense, but also, like I said, her healing scales with defense. And for the last 2-piece in that set, you can go Blackwing, some more attack, or you can opt in for some extra crit damage. Personally, what I would recommend is Instinctual Growth and then defense or HP as the 2-piece. And for her stats, prioritizing defense and prioritizing health to increase your overall survivability. Now, as I've hopefully managed to show, she's capable of insane amounts of damage, so going some instinct damage where you can pick it up and, maybe a crit rate on the top right slot is not a bad idea. Basically, it's all gonna be dependent on, do you want her to just be more defensive, or do you want her to also be able to actually dish out some really, really serious damage? Now, as for the partners, if you're just starting out, you don't have any controller partners, Yvonne is not a bad one to just have a little bit small invested in the beginning until you pick up another one. It fits Orlea's kit quite well. If you manage to get Alyssa is great. Alyssa is great on Orlea, but the absolute best slot partner is Noelle. As you might notice, I got lucky enough to actually manage to get this one. And now Noelle is specific in that it is only kind of a good partner for Orlea specifically. It works on Retain, which is Orlea's bread and butter. The ultimate, Legato of Faith, will activate all Retain effects on the combatant's card. So yeah, this is Orlea's intended partner. And it also makes it so that end of turn, you deal some damage to all of the enemies. So, why are people saying that Orlea is worse than Mika? Orlea takes slightly longer to get rolling, Mika is more ready out of the gate, and one of Mika's best things is that she can provide AP for your other teammates. Orlea, she doesn't provide AP, but she also doesn't use up any whatsoever. And while Mika is a very good AP positive healing unit, Orlea has the capabilities to almost one-shot bosses if it's a lengthy battle. Mika has access to some stress reduce via her Epiphanies, Orlea has 2, and Orlea's is a lot more potent. Absolutely no shade on Mika, she is such a fantastic unit and everybody should invest in a Mika. But we need more than one healer when we get into the later endgame where we need more than one team. Which is the main reason why I started building Orlea. I'm okay, she might be dog shite, but we almost have no healers and she can do a bit of that. And now I'm absolutely smitten by her performance and she's fucking great. And I personally would never slot out my Orlea and put in a Mika instead. I'd pick Orlea any day. Now, part of that is also that I like to play very kind of heavy hitting, a little bit slower teams. So, a team like my team number 5, Calip, Magna, and Orlea, all of these characters are so perfectly synergizing with each other. They all have a little bit of build up and they don't get through combat on round 1. But, once it's time for them to unleash hell, they unleash a lot of it. And this is really a team where Orlea can shine. Paired up together with Bruisers that doesn't have to end everything on round 1, because Orlea is not amazing round 1. Like I said, she gets amazing a few rounds in. Same can be said about Magna and same can be said about Calip. Now, in a team like my team number 2, which is Maylin, Selena, and Mika, Mika might fit that team better than Orlea does, just because, like I said, Orlea is a little bit of a slower creature. And the extra AP that Mika can provide would benefit this team better, because this team preferably wants the combat to be over before the enemy, starts hitting them, because it's a very, very squishy team. Team number 5, Calip, Magna, they don't care. They don't care if the enemy hits them, because they have a billion shields on and, Orlea heals. It's just 2 different kinds of teams, and Orlea is more fitting for that tankier, slightly slower team constellation. But in general, it is the same deal as with Mika. if you need a healer, Orlea can fit into basically any team. It's just that she fits slightly better into the slower teams, meanwhile Mika fits better into the faster teams. And as far as combos goes with Orlea, it's not too complicated. You want to let your slimes sit and grow on your hand, and then when the time is right, you want to unleash them on the enemies. Sometimes you need to get rid of slimes because you simply have too many on your hands and you can't draw enough other cards. It's we don't want our hands to be only slimes. So sometimes we need to sacrifice a 1-star, a 2-star slime, just to free up some space in our hand. But in general, you want all the slimes to just be sitting there for as long as they can. Tuffy will keep you healed up. Swifty will get more and more dangerous for every retain. Softy will give a very potent buff to your entire team. And what I would say, don't use Swifty, the damaging slime, until it matters. Unless you're killing an enemy with him, well, let him sit and grow for at least another round, because then he might kill an enemy. Now in my experience, combat with Orlea usually goes like this. There's some rounds of build-up, and then there comes a deciding turn where we have the ability to kill the enemy if we use everything. Softy, the buffing slime, he makes it so that the next attack card use gets a certain buff. If we also play Softy, so we actually use him, he will give an additional buff. So when the time comes to actually end the combat, use Softy and then unleash hell. And if you want your Swifty to do as much damage as possible, use a Softy and have Swifty be the next character out. So give yourself all of the buffs that you can and also apply all of the debuff on the enemy. So if you have a vulnerable card, well, apply that before attacking. As I've shown in my clips of Orlea, she is capable of dealing more damage than I've ever seen any other card do. And take vulnerable for example, it makes attacks on an enemy deal 50% more damage. Which is a hell of a lot if you have a Swifty that base kit has 1500% damage. And Orlea also has a lot of cards that will let you manually trigger the retain effect. Which card should you pick? I will say it depends on the combat. And this is gonna come down to your knowledge of the enemy and your game and the party that you're running. For some encounters, extra retaining Softy to get a more potent buff every turn is gonna be the best option to wither the enemy down slowly but surely. In some other combats where the damage is really heavy, you might need to retain on Tuffy so that he keeps you alive by healing you. What I, however, tend to do is use my retain effects on Swifty to make Swifty grow. I kid you not, Swifty is a lot of times my winning condition. And when playing with the shield ladies, it's all about holding out until Swifty is big enough to basically one-shot the enemy. So, I was kind of disappointed when I initially pulled Orlea, but now after having played her, she is one of my new mains. She is such a fantastic, fun character, and the extra mini game of keeping track of her slimes, I really, really fucking love it. And combat with Orlea is a lot more fun than normal combat. So, if you were like me, you pulled Orlea, maybe you're a little bit down about it because people are saying she wasn't great. Hopefully, I made you see her in a different light, because by the god, she might look like an innocent nun. Well, innocent is debatable, but she looks like a nun, but she is actually a fucking murderer. So, if you have any questions regarding Orlea, slap them down below the video and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you have any additional Orlea tips that I, didn't think about bringing up, please also slap it down there. One of the best things with having an amazing community is that if I forget to mention something, somebody else will do it under the video. And if you're into more Chaos Zero Nightmare content, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. If you like the video, give a thumbs up. And as always, thanks for watching. Have a big hug. Until next time, Hako out.